The Weaver questline in A Realm Reborn is there to introduce this profession to us while emphasizing the fact that clothing is part of your first impression. We join the Weaver Guild in Ul'dah, a guild with long and interesting history. The hot air and piercing sun in this region has caused the city to become the hub of flowing fabrics and light textiles to both shield the body from the sun, but not overly burden it with heat either. For a long time, the weavers of the city would work independently until the opening of the trade routes with the Near East. At the time, expensive fabrics flooded the market, leaving the local weavers unable to compete with the sheer quantity of the imported textiles. So to compete, they instead focused on quality. This led to the founding of the Weaver Guild, with the like-minded crafters banding together, improving their craft. And today the guild is known for exporting fine fabric far and wide under the name of Sun Silk Tapestries, a name that guarantees quality and craftsmanship. Anyone wanting to become a master weaver within the city must petition to join the guild, and we are no different. We join under the guidance of the guild master Rattleland Rose, a man in constant search for the perfect fabric. Under his guidance, we are taught the importance of quality at every stage of the production of clothing, from the yarn to the fabric to the final product itself. We get familiar with the guild's day-to-day work as they make clothing not only for the upper class and the commoners, but they even handle making bandages for the Flaming Fist. It is during this training we also get to be the witnesses of a story between several Lalafell. And the first one of the group that we meet is Vavaruka. He is the Lalafell who handles ordering in the various clothing needs for the Miners Guild. Mostly gloves, because miners just go through them in the dozens. We first get to know him as the Rattleland Rose asks us to tell the man he is to be gifted an item of his choosing from the Weavers Guild as a reward for his long-time patronage. And while Vavaruka is definitely surprised, he's not one to refuse free clothing. We end up crafting him a scarf and a new set of cotton shepherd's slobs. Rose is definitely disappointed over the rather unfine clothing Vavaruka requested, but when the Lalafell is pressed, he simply explains he has no need for fancy clothing. After all, he is a miner. He's more fit in the mine than at a fancy ball. He doesn't even have a lady to bring to such a thing. So the items we crafted for him are perfect for his lifestyle. The next character in our cast is Mama Yaru, another Lalafell who comes to us wanting a cotton acton with a materia adhered to it. He's one of the rich Lalafell of the city and he plans to fight in the Colosseum, though he doesn't seem to have any understanding of how materia works, as we can basically put any materia on his outfit. And finally, we get to meet the final two Lalafells in our story. That is Babawai, a jeweler, and his daughter Kokomo. Babawai is bringing Kokomo for a dress. Rose was meant to meet up with them, but the Sultana has put in an order, so he has to handle that and we are sent in his place. As we meet up with them, we quickly learn that Kokomo isn't really interested in another dress, but her father is quite insistent. Kokomo is a shy young lady and she doesn't really want to stand out. And thankfully, when we bring the information to Rose, he designs a dress with that in mind. It is not long after that Vavaruka joins us again. This time, he has an eye for a wealthy girl, so he wants to be properly dressed before making an introduction. So to do that, he needs us to make him some fancy shoes. But when he tries on the fancy shoes, we get to see the rest of his outfit, which is apparently what his dad was wearing when he courted his mother. And I don't know, the leather straps is something I did not expect. In fact, the outfit is so horrifying that Rose has pretty much a breakdown as the Lalafell runs away. This ridiculous outfit does not work really well though. Vavaruka does show up again not too long after, telling us he went to the jewelry shop that Kokomo's father owns to meet her, and the father ran Vavaruka off, calling him a pervert. And maybe there was a bit of a chase by the Flaming Fists involved. Though Vavaruka tells us he has had one chance to speak to Kokomo, though at the time he was wearing his regular miner's outfit. Apparently some ruffians were bothering her father's job. Vavaruga stepped in to chase them off, and she spoke to him after, though he doesn't really know what he said as his heart was pounding so loudly at the time that he really didn't hear anything except that. Now he plans to speak with her again, and this time he has spoken to his friends, and he knows that maybe showing up in leather straps is not the way to go. So this time he wants us to make him a proper nice shirt. Good choice. The rest of the outfit though is up for debate. If anything, it is somehow worse than the last one, because at least the other one he was wearing pants. So while Vavaruga runs away, we get to observe another breakdown by poor Rose. Luckily, sometime later, we are hired by Kokomo to make some clothing. So as we speak to her, we discreetly ask her about her thoughts on the peculiar miner. And it turns out she finds his outfit rather amusing but weird, and she's kinda saddened she hasn't had a chance to properly speak to him yet on the account of her father chasing him away every time he shows up in those silly clothing. She wants us to make her some warm tights, and during her fitting we learn that she isn't really fond of all those balls and parties. When Rose tries to put it in a positive light and points out it's an opportunity to find a man, she accidentally tells us that Vavaruga would never attend these parties, so it seems he has truly caught her eye, meaning all he needs is to wear something that isn't utterly mad, and maybe Kokomo's father will accept him, or at least not chase him away. It is not long after that Vavaruga brings up yet another ridiculous order, but this time Rose has a plan. He decides we will craft him a much better outfit, and we are sent to convince Vavaruga that the new outfit is much better than the order he put in. Thankfully, Vavaruga is aware that he is absolutely hopeless when it comes to clothing, so he happily accepts the change of order. When the outfit is ready, we dress Vavaruga up, but he seems disheartened. Apparently he saw Kokomo on the way to the guild, and she was walking with some other fancy fella, and poor Vavaruga simply feels he won't ever be good enough for her. He isn't fancy, he isn't rich, he's a miner. So he runs away. But he does not stay away too long, because soon he realizes that the man courting Kokomo is no other than Mamiyaru, the rich Lalafell wanting to be part of the Colosseum. And Mamiyaru is planning to propose. Vavaruga knows this is his last chance with Kokomo, so he asks us to make the finest outfit we can, which we do. And then we head with him to the Gold Court so he can confess his feelings for her. There we see Mamiyaru and Kokomo talking. Mamiyaru is blathering on about something, and she seems distant. This lack of attention sends the man into rage, and he attempts to hit her, only for Vavaruga to come to the rescue, stepping in and chasing the brute off. And finally Vavaruga and Kokomo manage to speak. She confesses she wanted to meet him again, and make him promise to stop wearing such silly clothing so her father won't always chase him away. And he makes the promise to do just that, and we leave them behind, knowing that maybe her father won't really approve, but I think he will eventually when he sees that his daughter is happy. I love this questline, as I find it both to be quite funny with all the silly outfits, and it also has a very sweet storyline. And the cinematic with Vavaruga and Kokomo finally facing one another is just adorable. So tell me, what do you think about this questline? Do you have a favorite crafting questline from A Realm Reborn? Tell me about it in the comments, and while you're down there, give me a commendation by liking and subscribing. But all I want to say in the end is takk fyrir að horfa og eigðu yndislegan dag.